Okay, so I'm going to talk about 10 ways that we can save money. These are pretty basic tips in my opinion, but I'm going to run through them all just so you guys get a good list of ways to save money. So the first one, I just have notes here on my laptop. The first way, it's just kind of a general category, this is surrounding budgeting. So the first thing you want to do is kind of evaluate your expenses. What are you spending in a month? You can go through your bank accounts and your credit card summaries, and then figure out how much you make a month. Write that all down. Maybe even go through, like, say, 3 months of expenses and get a general idea. 1 month maybe more than the other, so you want to go through a couple months just to make sure you're getting a bigger picture of how much you actually spend in a month. And then you can see, am I spending less? Am I spending more? Am I just breaking even? Stuff like that. So for me, what I do is I have multiple accounts. So I think I have 4 checking accounts. The bank I'm with is called Simply. It's in Canada. I don't think they're in the States. I think it's just exclusive to Canada. But if you can find a bank account that lets you open free checking accounts, then this would be the perfect option for you. And I'll insert a picture with my numbers blurred out, of course, for privacy, of all my checking accounts and how I organize it. So basically, my first account is Fun Other. My second account is Bills. I have an account for house savings, so that's kind of if anything goes wrong in the house, and to pay off mortgages and lines of credit and all that good stuff. And then I also have an account for savings or vacations, extra fun savings kind of thing. So for instance, we were going to go to Portugal this year, so I had $1,000 in that account saved for Portugal, but now that's not happening, so that's okay though. We can save it for next year or save it for something else this year that we want to save extra for. And then I also have my RSP account. I have a TFSA account through a different financial institution, but that it's a whole bunch of different accounts, so it helps me budget, basically. And I really like having, if you're gonna just open one extra account, just to have an extra account that's just for bills. That's where I would kind of just have that one extra account if you can't open very many. Or if you want to just start off and see if it works for you to have extra accounts open, just having a billing account is amazing, because it's like, it's not even like it's your money kind of thing. It just goes automatically when you get paid into that account, and all your bills, phone bill, mortgage, all that stuff comes right out of that account. So it's not really affecting the money that you have for fun or other things, or groceries, or you can put groceries in that account. You can put it in your Fun Other account because it's more flexible every month. But I put groceries, phone bill, mortgage payment, utilities, everything goes into the bills. So that really helped me with budgeting. And of course, another tip is to live below your means. So once you figure out how much you're making and how much you're spending, you gotta put them into categories, and you can do like a light budget, or you can do a hardcore on paper. I'm gonna stick to this budget, but just know that you have to live below what you're making. So in my experience at my job that I have, I started off with full-time hours. I made $2,650 a month. So I've gotten raises, very small raises, like 30 cents, 50 cents here and there kind of thing. But now I don't make $25.60 that I was making last year. I make about $1 more, maybe $1.50 more, but I still stick to the $26.50 in my budget. And all the extra money, and I work a lot of overtime too, so every extra penny goes into savings. So that's another strategy you could use if your job allows you to get raises every now and then, every couple months kind of thing. Just stick to the amount you were making when you first started. Okay, so the next category would be for savings, of course. And this is paying yourself first. So when your paycheck hits your account, your first, say it's your Fun and Other, is where mine goes into, is the first account. I have all my transfers set up ahead of time, so I have infinite transfers until I cancel it. So say I get the $1,325 for that paycheck. Then I know that a certain amount, based on my budget that I've done, a certain amount is going into savings, a certain amount is going into bills account, a certain amount is staying in my fund and other account so I can spend without feeling guilty. And then any additional money, so if I work overtime, any additional money because I have a higher wage now, I can decide if I want to keep it in my fund and other, because that's technically my guilt-free spending, or I can move it into a savings account if I'm saving up for vacation, like I had mentioned earlier. Now that we're not saving up for the vacation, I can probably just spend it if I want to, or I can put extra money towards a house. Anything I want to do, I can do because I budgeted for it. Also having emergency fund account is very important. Of course, I watch a lot of Dave Ramsey, so I know that he says to start off with $1,000, which I totally agree with, and then pay off your debt from there. But due to this health crisis happening in the world, I kind of beefed up my emergency fund before paying off debt, just because I don't know if I'm going to, in September when my full-time contract ends, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get full-time hours because I can't have a second job right now according to my policies at my work. I can only work within the company at the location that I'm at. So this kind of makes it tricky because I'm so used to having 2 or 3 jobs at a time. And thank God I have this full-time position, but it will expire in September. So either my contract will get pushed because we have extra staff for the pandemic, or I'm going to go back to part-time, in which case instead of getting 9 shifts every 2 weeks, I'm going to be knocking it down to 5, and I can probably pick up shifts here and there, but it will be tricky because all the casual staff are now full-time. So it's all just a big mess. But emergency fund, that's very important. So I have beefed it up to be 6 months, just in case, because I am going back to part-time. But if you have your permanent full-time position, this isn't gonna really affect you unless you think you might lose your job. But I know that this pandemic is kind of simmering down, and it's like in phase 2 or 3 now. So the economy is starting to get back on track. But if you still have the fear of losing your job, make sure that your emergency fund has at least 3 months of expenses in it. Now, I put 6 months of expenses if I cut out savings, if I cut out leisure spending, if I just got down to the bare bones. So that really helped. Instead of having $2,650 times 6, it was, I think, $1,800 a month with bare bones expenses. So yeah, you can do it that way as well to help beef up your emergency fund faster, is just cut out non-essential spending. So that's one thing as well. Investing, of course. So I have a TFSA, I have an RSP. Right now I'm just contributing to my TFSA because we have savings goals for our house first. And then I had a plan by the time I'm 25, I'm 24 right now, and I was 23 when I opened my RSP. I put an initial deposit into my RSP, but I said by the time I'm 25, I'm going to be contributing 15% consistently. So I have that kind of 1.5 to 2 year span to get my TFSA in order and get those savings goals looked at and dealt with and all that stuff, and so then I can contribute to my RSP properly. So investing, yes. So RSP or 401k, it would be the States, 15%. I have a pension, so up in Canada, it's 18% you can contribute up to. But with my pension, it takes away the yearly amount based on how much I contribute to my pension. So I just stick with 15% just to play it safe. If you're tight on money, you can even drop down to 10 or 13% kind of thing. But I wouldn't go less than 10%, I don't think, if you have the money for it, if you're not struggling. With that as well, sinking funds is very important. So Everybody knows that at Christmas time, you're going to spend a buttload of money if that's the way you celebrate Christmas, is by giving people gifts. So I set out a budget for everybody. My parents, each parent is $100. My boyfriend is $100. My sister is $50. My friends, $50 for all of my friends, so they get little gifts. My grandma would be more like $30 to $40, kind of things like that. You just budget how much you want to spend on each person. And then my in-laws, they get $100 split between the two of them. Stuff like that. I'm sure I'll beef it up a little bit more this year because I do have the full-time job, and I do have my emergency fund in place. So we'll just see if I can get a little more extra money this year. But in past years, that's how I budgeted. So overall, I think it was about $700 that I'd be spending for Christmas for everybody's presents, for the brothers, the siblings, the parents, in-laws, grandma, aunts, all sister, all that stuff. So $700. So sinking funds, every single month, you're going to take $700 and divide it by 12, and then however much that is, you put it into your separate account or your savings or whatever you have, whatever account you want to put into your savings for Christmas. And you know that you're going to put that certain amount every single month, and then at Christmas time, when you actually go to spend the money, you'll have it there. So it's like, I didn't start doing this sinking funds thing until last year, and it's amazing. It's a game changer because I don't have to work crazy overtime the month before in November to be like, oh no, I need Christmas money. Oh, it's coming up. I just have my sinking funds. And same with my nursing license fee is about $300 a year. So another sinking fund is I put $25 a month into my sinking fund. So then I never have to panic about it like everybody else. They're all bitching about the nursing license fee is like, oh no, I'm losing $300 or $400 this month, and oh, it's so much of a pain. You know what? Sinking fund, girl, $25 a month, and it's fine. Okay. So yes, and I also use auto pay for this as well. So auto deposit, take it right from the day I get my check, auto deposit it into my savings account for that. Okay, so then the next category would be based on food, because that's our second most expensive line in our budget, next to housing and utilities and all that stuff. So for me, I buy everything generic. I buy everything Great Value brand, Great Value brand from Walmart, or Compliments, or any of those things. Or if it's on sale for the same price as the generic, that's the only time I buy the regular brand. If it's 30 cents more and on sale, I stick to the generic brand, man. It just works. I can buy groceries for the entire month for under $250. So that's for two people. It's amazing. Okay, so and then with grocery shopping as well, you want to make a master list. So a very big list, like you want to include everything under the sun so that you can go shopping one time in the month. That's it. You shop and you buy everything. I spend between $200 and $250. Depends on the month. Like if we need extra, I usually buy 2 bags of sugar kind of thing. So if we need extra sugar, and like it's flexible like that, right? So then since we budget about, I say we budget about $250. So for instance, last month, I spent $225 at Walmart for last month's big shop at Walmart. And then halfway through the month, we go back to so let me reverse. Walmart is about 15 to 20 minutes away from our house. So that's why we only go once a month. I think this is great for budgeting as well. But so I spent $225 last month at Walmart for a big 1 day a month shop. Then 2 weeks later, we go down the road, which is a 5-minute drive, to Food Basics. And that's where we pick up our extra produce halfway through the month kind of thing, because the original produce we bought at the beginning will either be used up or starting to get bad. So we get more produce at that time. Anything extra that we missed, like maybe halfway through the month, we run out of laundry detergent, and I didn't even think of that kind of thing when we went at the beginning of the month, or a bag of sugar, and I thought we had an extra bag and we didn't. So then that's where you kind of have that buffer for the extra $25, $30 in your budget to go spend halfway through the month. And sometimes I do spend that money halfway through the month. Sometimes I can go the 3 weeks before I have to spend that extra money. So it's great to just do one huge haul, and then you don't have to worry about it. And yeah, so that's one of my favorite days of the month, to be honest. I liked grocery shopping before, but now that I get to buy everything under the sun in one shop and I get to do it under budget, it's amazing. And then lastly in the food section is limiting your guilty pleasures. So I know a lot of people say, oh, if you invest your $4 coffee every day, you'll become a millionaire, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I'm not saying never to buy coffee again, but for me, I used to buy coffees and stuff all the time. It was in my guilt-free account. So I allowed myself to buy coffee and McDonald's and all that stuff because I budgeted for it, first of all. But what I found was I used to have coffee maybe like 3 times a week, and I would really enjoy having coffee, or breakfast on Sundays kind of thing. That was really, it was little things in life, but I think that was really nice, in my opinion, to have breakfast on Sundays with your coffee and everything. Now I drink coffee every single day, and it kind of took away the pleasure aspect of having coffee with your breakfast and everything. And I don't have breakfast every day. I still have breakfast only on my days off kind of thing, like a nice eggs and toast and bacon. But the pleasure I got from drinking my coffee with that meal, it's just kind of simmered. So trying to limit yourself on the things that you find pleasurable. So if you really love getting McDonald's coffee, try and limit it down to, instead of every single day or twice a day getting coffee, try to simmer back down to maybe only 3 or 4 times a week. So when you do get that coffee, you're like, yes, I love this so much. And I'm so glad I budgeted for this because I love it, instead of just getting it out of habit. Okay, so next, the last category would be patience. I know this is hard for a lot of people, but waiting for things to be on sale. So as I mentioned earlier with the grocery budget, so say you're out shopping and you want to get more detergent for your laundry kind of thing. I would wait till something's on sale for $5.99 instead of spending $12, $10 kind of thing, and then stock up on it. So buy 2 or 3 bottles at a time. So if you're originally spending $12 on a bottle and you really need detergent, buy whatever is on sale, and so you can buy 3 of that for basically the same price. Also, waiting before purchasing something. So if, for instance, Black Friday is a big sale day, Cyber Monday, those kind of things. There's also some other days I don't go to the mall, you guys. There's also some other days in the year that have big sales. Probably summer sales, end of summer sales. I don't know. I don't go to the mall. I don't shop that much. But when I do shop, I make sure it's on Black Friday or Cyber Monday or any of those days that are big sales. So I know that usually every year I need a new pair of shoes because I'm a nurse and my shoes wear out really fast. So I always wait till they go on sale, and then I buy, instead of buying 1 pair for $150, I buy 2 pairs for $60 on sale, so that when 1 pair of shoes wears out, I can use the other pair, or I can flip-flop between them to make them last longer. That really helped. Last year or 2 years ago, I had bought a pair of shoes on sale. Now you got to make sure that you're getting a good pair of shoes. Don't get the cheapest of the cheap. 2 years ago when I bought my shoes, I bought a pair for $45 or so, $45, $50, but they were the worst shoes. They wore out so quickly. So I always look at the original price. So if these shoes were originally $120 or at least over $100 originally, I know that those are pretty good quality shoes. Also look at the brand that you're getting. So for nursing, I know that the Nike are pretty popular, the Asics and Saucony, I believe it's called. Those 3 brands are very popular at my work. So I always ask other people, what kind of shoes are you wearing? What do you like in your shoes? What do you look for? And just wait for them to go on sale. And I mean, the shoes that I just bought recently, they are amazing. They're so comfortable compared to my last pair. And I bought 2 pairs. So same price that I would have paid if they were not on sale, but I got 2 pairs. Okay, I think that's it. That's it, everyone. Thanks for joining me.